Welcome to Facing the Middle East, our program that places news in context. Millions of protesters flooded the streets in what some say could be as many as 400 Iranian cities. The current round of protests began at the end of December. At first, demonstrations focused on economic hardship as the Iranian rial has fallen and inflation hit 42.2% by the end of 2025. Rapidly, the protest turned into a movement for freedom, and for many, for regime change. Nearly 1 month later, the Iranian regime has clamped down hard on the protesters in one of the bloodiest, most chilling, and most torturous responses to date. Figures coming in on protesters killed range from 3,000 to tens of thousands. An internet shutdown has locked the world out. President Donald Trump has firmly stated that the United States would intervene if Iran violently kills protesters. The president said he would come to their rescue, but what action will follow remains unclear. The USS Abraham Lincoln, the nuclear-powered supercarrier, was sent from South China Sea to the Gulf region with accompanying destroyers, where they will join other ships already there, ready for an attack. China has sent its own warship. Developments are unfolding minute by minute as this show is being produced. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian warned this past Sunday that any attack on the country's supreme leader would be a declaration of war. He said this warning came after President Trump said it's time to look for new leadership in Iran. Meanwhile, the whereabouts of Ayatollah Khamenei are unknown. Iranian regime organizations have been working for decades in preparation for this moment. One man who heads one of these opposition groups, the New Iran, also created a communication system, a network designed to help organizers inside Iran communicate secretly and move information out. We will hear from Iman Foratan and SOS Iran Voices. But first, what's on my mind? A tipping point has been reached in cities across Iran as stark images of mass demonstrations now turning violent spread. It's a fight for economic freedom and for many, life itself, as people endure water shortages, inflation continues to skyrocket, food prices soar, and the Iranian rial keeps depreciating. This is a call for change, with most shouting freedom, and with Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi, the son of the late exiled Shah of Iran, emerging as a symbol for many in the streets. We have seen it before, including during the Israel-Hamas war, when silence should have given way to public condemnation and recognition of the rape of innocent women among its litany of horrors. And now the same pattern is repeating itself with Iran. The United Nations has issued statements of shock and restraint, with Secretary General Antonio Guterres saying he is shocked by the reports of violence and excessive use of force by the Iranian authorities, and urging Tehran to exercise maximum restraint and refrain from unnecessary or disproportionate force. While such language expresses concern, it stops far short of a call to action. What is happening inside Iran is not a domestic crisis, it's a global one. The Islamic Republic has held the world hostage through its nuclear aspirations and through the use of proxy terror armies. President Donald Trump has warned Iran that they will intervene if protesters are touched. Looking through a social media lens, the Israeli Foreign Ministry has been telling the people of Iran that Israel stands with them. Governments can ensure the demonstrators have the tools they need to strengthen their protests. Enabling virtual private networks so people can communicate, organize, and tell the truth to the world is essential. Yet for the regime's years of investment in nuclear facilities and weapons manufacturing plants, while casting its web through proxies across the Middle East, the neglect of its own resources may become its worst nightmare. Mismanagement and a lack of oversight on water could become a crisis that the regime cannot contain. This is not the first demonstration, but this time traction is evident and the plea must be for the world to step in. Their struggle is our struggle, and the least we can do is be vocal. The Iranian people are boldly protesting across cities throughout Iran. To understand what is unraveling by the minute, we speak with longtime contributor Iman Foratan, is chairman of the board of trustees of the New Iran and founder of SOS Iran. Joining us as well is Hisam, based in Turkey. He is the director of civil disobedience for the New Iran and for SOS Iran. Thank you both for joining me. I understand we have people connected through encrypted phone lines and able to speak with us right now from Iran. So why don't we begin with this?
Hi, Felice. Thank you so much for inviting us to your program. Yes, indeed, we do have SOS activists inside Iran. So if you wish to start with them with your questions, please go ahead.
I want to thank everyone for joining me, and safety first. The most important thing that I think we're trying to understand is how dangerous these protests have become. Is Hadis on the streets herself, and how safe does she feel?
بله ببخشید که ما البته که مثل همیشه اینترنتمون رو هم ضعیف کردن.
Yes, she has personally and does personally go into the protest. Without naming location, she is in the vicinity of Tehran. And she said she has seen with her own eyes the water cannons and all the efforts of the security forces not to allow people to gather. So they're doing anything and everything that they can to prevent people from gathering together.
We have seen these demonstrations before, and we saw one in the past year. We were thinking that we would see it expand. It didn't. Does she feel that this is going to stay true to their goals in terms of what you mentioned, both ends of economic problems and also possibly a regime change that some of them are seeking? So I think that that is the core question here. Will these protests continue?
من میتونم این رو بگم که ما چاره‌ای جز این که به نتیجه برسیم نداریم، چون آخرین
We have no choice but to succeed. We have taken our life in our hands as our weapon, and we're in the streets. In Mashhad and all these other cities that she mentioned, people not only are out, but they're also chanting the name of who they want, which is Reza Pahlavi. They have no fear. So she says, this is what we have, this is what we're doing. It seems like the whole country is coming all together and united towards this finality that they have been all looking for.
I know this is extremely sensitive and emotional, and Iman, you've been at this for many years, and I really feel your pain, and I really feel for the safety of every person that's on the ground fighting for freedom. My question right now is, do they feel any kind of sense of strength from what President Trump has said, that if any of the protesters were harmed, the United States would intervene? And from what you're saying right now, it's a lot more serious than I believe that the media is reporting.
من لازمه اینجا این رو بگم که روز اول تظاهرات با جمعیت کمی شروع شد.
Before recent events, or at the beginning of the events 7 days ago, Iran was trending as number 22 on X, on Twitter, on X. After the world started looking at Iran last few days, now Iran is top 5 trending in Twitter, which means the world is looking at Iran and what's going on in Iran. So that really gives them hope, gives them the fact that people in the world are listening to them. Specifically about Trump, she says, she supports Trump, she thanks Trump, and it's fantastic that his message, Trump's message, gave her and others the feeling that somebody outside, somebody powerful, is hearing their voice, and this person has eliminated all the middlemen and is directly talking to people that he should be talking to. And it was been it's been very good, the Trump message that came out yesterday.
Do they think that there will be a change, a sea change, that there will be a change of government? How do they think this is going to end?
ایمان جان، ما با داخل ایران ارتباط مستقیم داریم. مردم باور دارن.
He is in direct contact, and I can attest to that almost 24/7 to our activists and to the people of Iran. He says the people inside actually this time believe this is the end, and end of this will be regime change. And he also said they believe that after that, the Pahlavi dynasty will come. That's Hissam's opinion, and most everybody who's there. But they actually believe this is going to end in regime change.
What kind of help do they need to enable this change? Is it internally? Is it externally?
اگر اجازه بدین من 2 تا مطلب رو بگم که به نظرم خیلی مهمه. یکی حضور
She says, let me
بچه‌های کم
explain
سن
two
و
things, if I may. Her last sentence was, yes, we believe we're going to take this over. We believe we're going to have regime change. But she started saying that the regime now is arresting a lot of people and a lot of younger people, a lot of people under 18 years old. They arrest them. She even mentioned the name of a 14-year-old, which is apparently killed.
Hadif, stay safe, and we hope to speak with you again shortly. Iman, I do want to ask you a few questions concerning the Ayatollah Khomeini making a statement to Trump, stating very firmly that his intervention is one against international law. The Iranian Foreign Ministry came out, and they also had comments about what's happening. They both, as a matter of fact, that was the Foreign Ministry, but the Ayatollah himself came out and was very upset with President Trump's intervention. So I think that there seems to be pressure on the leadership there.
Like you said, Khamenei has come out and has said something, and threats that between him and the foreign ministry, the hollow threats have had all this time. I mean, if U.S. was able to go after Fordo and basically knock out everything the Islamic Republic has done over the last 20 some years, then, and knowing well what's going on in Venezuela, they know that if the US and Israel want, they can do what needs to be done. But one of the things that the regime keeps telling the people of Iran, the Islamic, is that if we go, Iran is going to be divided. We're going to lose our territorial integrity. In my opinion, having known Trump for so many of Trump and reading his books and knowing his personality, he does take risks, but calculated risks. A lot of people were upset with Trump. Why didn't he go and finish or allow Bibi to go and finish Islamic Republic a few months ago after they attacked the nuclear sites? From an Iranian point of view, myself, I would have loved for that to have happened. But from being also Iranian American, I know that Trump does not want to be seen by the world as a person who actually directly does a regime change. It wants things to happen, even with Venezuela, and then he does not necessarily take sides until he's absolutely sure. So what's happening in Venezuela is just basically a appetizer what could happen to Iran.
You know, you set up what could happen, and it could happen. I think only time will tell. My big question is, where are the Arab leaders? You know, they have the most to benefit. They sit on those borders. They're worried about Iran's nuclear armament. They're worried about the ballistic missiles. One day they're a friend, one day they're not. Their voices should also be present. Why not?
It's a very good question, because right now, as you know, the Arab countries are absolutely 100% supporting President Trump and Mr. Netanyahu's efforts with regard to Gaza. So we know that's working. Now, for the Arab countries to come out and take sides, I think there could be many reasons, but one of them is that generally the Arab countries have never liked a powerful Iran over the years. Because we know, because of the size of Iran, because of the potential that Iran has to become a regional, both military power and economic power. So I would not necessarily think they're just jumping in their seats saying, yes, you know, this Islamic regime is going to go and then we're going to make a better Iran.
Let's turn to Hissam for a moment about the SOS Iran that you began within the year. You launched it with the Media Line. And how has that assisted what's happening that we are seeing on the ground today?
بله سپاسگزارم. دقیقا یه شبکه به صورت سیستماتیک کمکی به ما کرد.
He says that having SOS Iran has been a fantastic tool, this network that has allowed him and others to find one another anonymously and safely using the system. He says through the SOS Iran network system, he has been able to identify and is currently working for about 50 leaders, we call them ringleaders or team leaders around the country without them knowing one another. And if I may add, Hessam has been coordinating with people, the New Iran organization, along with a few other organizations that are connected and collaborating inside SOS Iran network. They have printed and actually created thousands of lion and sun flags inside Iran. We planned this over a year and a half ago. We knew this day will be coming. It's not easy to go inside Iran, and we'll show you videos and everything, and print these flags and posters of Reza Pahlavi, tens of thousands of those.
Iman, it begs the question about Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi when everyone sees his face really much more public in the recent years, particularly. They're thinking that he's going to come into Iran, take over, and a kingdom is going to be reestablished. Is that the case?
Absolutely not. Thank you for asking this important question. Unfortunately, either intentionally or unintentionally, a lot of the world media and even those some Iranians, they portray Prince Reza Pahlavi, as you said, this person who's ready to become a king and rule Iran and all that stuff, and almost like a dictatorial person. Nothing is further than the truth. Prince Reza Pahlavi, actually, the organizations like the New Iran and a lot of us that were present in the first meeting in Munich, Germany in February 2025, we had to beg Prince Reza Pahlavi to actually become the leader of this revolution, to take the people of Iran from this side of the Islamic Republic line to freedom. In fact, I was there. I was sitting one chair next to Prince Reza Pahlavi in Munich. For an hour and a half, every organization asked him and begged him, and he to become the king, to become the, all that stuff, that he really doesn't want to be. And he actually got frustrated to the point, and he said, do I want to become the person that the entire Iran believes in? So in my opinion, no one in this world can actually and has the power and the authority to lead this revolution except Reza Pahlavi. Why? Because of the trust that the people of Iran finally have for his father and his grandfather, and of course for himself, that he's been steady. He's been saying the same thing over and over. He has not asked for attacking Iran or military action. He's always been for civil disobedience. And finally, the people can see the wisdom of his actions. This is all happening organically. And Mr. Reza Pahlavi, Prince Reza Pahlavi, has been the leader of this and will be leader until Iran is freed with us.
Well, thank you. And again, safety to all, and may the outcome be good.
Thank you so much, Felice, for your time. And thanks again for the Media Line to be an outlet to actually publish the voices of people of Iran.
News needs trained journalists. The Media Line, the first American nonprofit news agency covering the Middle East, has mentored scores of students from prestigious American universities and around the globe. We are one of the best kept secrets. Universities are partners. Students receive credit. In order to bring you trusted news, we need support for our future journalists. Please make your tax-deductible gift today. Go to themedialine.org.
Steve, thank you for joining me. It's great to have you spend some time and talk about what's really happening in Iran and around the world.
Well, I'm glad to be here. It's certainly an interesting time and a very historical time.
We have warships and arsenal that President Trump has ordered to the Gulf. There's a showdown going down. What's going to happen?
So, Felice, it really could be anything from a dramatic sudden strike, which could happen at any moment, or it could be a show of force. There could be a showdown that could last for a few days or even a few weeks, and there could be diplomacy afterwards. If it's a major strike, it will target missile bases, command centers, centers of power in Iran. We don't know what the Iranian response will be. And there's also a question mark about Israeli involvement. If Israel gets involved, then Iran will certainly strike back. If not, then we don't know, because Iran might want to keep Israel out of it.
Some are saying that Iran may preempt everything and that they could strike American bases. And there are things that they have up their sleeve as well, and we really don't know. The other thing to look for is what's happening on the Straits of Hormuz. And it's been quiet, and we can see something going down there too. And that involves shipping, international shipping, and once again, that's going to hurt economically to everybody around.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we also don't know, another very unpredictable factor is Donald Trump. Unpredictability is his strategy.
And his strength sometimes,
and
too.
His strength.
Yes.
So we could see also a Venezuelan-style attack that really goes after the leadership. It really, it's very dynamic. That's all we can say.
A blackout of information has always been the mark of a totalitarian state. Steve, we have an exclusive report. It's by Omid Habibinya. It's quite amazing what he has done in corroborating several accounts of what's happened on the street. I think we need to share this with the audience. It's horrific, I have to say up front, and even hard to discuss, but we need to.
It's absolutely horrendous. What he's found was that there are people being brought to the morgue alive. Okay, they're either wounded on the streets and then they're put into body bags alive and transported, left to die, or they are even taken out of operations, taken out of hospitals. Some of them you can tell they've been treated. They've got, EKG, they've got all kinds of, electrodes and things like that on their bodies. They're being treated, being brought to the morgue to die. So, some of them are probably shot while they're in the body bag, and some of them have been found still alive.
And some of them are hiding, knowing that's going on.
So there was a case of a teenage boy, I believe, who spent 3 days still in a body bag so that they wouldn't find him among all the dead bodies. And there was a nurse who corroborated the information, told us about it. Afterwards, she was killed.
We also found out that there were many of the protesters that are seriously wounded, that are in their homes afraid to go to hospital for the fear that their plight would be the same. This is just emerging now. It's only the tip of what we're beginning to see. Exactly. And I think we're going to be reporting more so that really the public can get a sense of the very vast crimes against humanity that the Iranian regime has been involved in.
Yeah, it's just horrendous. Awful.
What will it take to topple the Ayatollah and his regime?
Well, we know in cases like this, it's the people protesting on the street are not going to be enough. The foreign support for regime change are not going to be enough. It's got to be a combination of the two. You need that foreign support. You need the people, the military coming in. You also need defectors within the Revolutionary Guard, for example. We're looking for that, and people on the street. What's going to happen if the regime falls? It's going to be slowly building up, and then suddenly you're going to see everything collapses in an unbelievably fast-paced. That's typically what happens. I think we can also look back to 1979, what happened with the Shah. It'll be something like that if the regime falls, but there's no telling that it will necessarily.
There are so many ifs here because we really don't have information. We have to hope there's a lot of intel on the ground, both through the Americans and the Israelis, which they have had all along. The reality is that I think we're going to see multiple fronts of whatever's going to go down.
Yeah.
And I think even the aftermath of that is going to still be part of what we're going to see that brings the change. I don't think it may happen immediately. I mean, that's the other issue.
Right. We don't know how this is going to play out really at all. And we don't know also what the Americans want, and behind the scenes what the Saudis want, and the Emiratis and the Israelis. And, they have their spoken agenda, their upfront agenda. And then, as things develop, they may decide to pull back. They may decide, leave the leave the Ayatollahs in charge, or they may decide to back one person, back another person. There may be also fights between different opposition groups. We really don't know.
It actually begs a question about getting information out. And you know our homework is not easy when it comes to doing this, particularly when you're dealing with a regime that's clamping down on all press, closing down every single newspaper, media outlet. Nobody really has a handle on what happens. So what do? We really should share with the audience, what does the Media Line do to tell you the truth?
Well, it's definitely not simple, because any information that comes out of Iran right now, someone's risking their life to get it to us. It could be, a person could send a video, and if it gets traced back to them, they could have a lot of problems. Things have to also be corroborated, verified, because there can be misinformation and disinformation being given to us. So we have to be very, very careful. That's the bottom line. And we try to get the story right. That's, everyone's trying to do that. But it's not easy.
The one thing that we do have going for the Media Line is it's around many years. We have many sources, both in Iran and outside of Iran, and that does help to tell the story. But I can't say that this is a simple job, not in any situation at all.
Right.
And people are really grasping for information at the moment.
And we know that as we try to get more information out, we're endangering people, and they're endangering themselves. So it's always that balancing act. How much do you want to push to get those sources to speak and to video and to try to get us information? They've got to also look out for themselves and their families.
Absolutely. I don't think people realize the extent of how dangerous it is for both journalists and for the sources at this time. The silence has been deafening, and I spoke about that earlier, the fact that we have Arab countries, European countries, and we have Democrats on Capitol Hill that are not speaking out. Where is their tongue?
This is one of the more uncomfortable questions that we have to deal with. It's not only Democrats, it's also some Republicans. And, people condemn Israel for what's going on here with Gaza, the whole conflict, the whole Palestinian conflict, very quickly. They're out protesting very, very quickly. Not so much when it comes to other conflicts, even larger conflicts, maybe more important or more significant conflicts. Sudan, Somalia, obviously Iran. So, it's a very difficult thing. I think part of it is fear, part of it is politics, part of it is hypocrisy, really.
The double standards shouldn't stand, and when it comes to these issues of human rights, everybody should speak out.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us on this edition of Facing the Middle East, where we unlock the hidden truths of the world's most contentious region. We encourage you to follow our daily news coverage produced by our seasoned journalists throughout the Middle East and invite you to see what journalism is truly about. Visit themedialine.org for news you need to know and trust.